Welcome to the channel Physics by IITians, where we learn physics to crack examinations and interviews. We have discussed last time about the discovery of spin, the details of Stern-Gerlach experiment, also the interpretation of spin. That the spin is not a classical thing. Whenever you are thinking that the spin, this is a rotating spin, so there should be an upward spin, and this is a downward spin. So rotation must be this way always, or rotation must be like this way always, just like classical spinning top. But here in quantum mechanics, spin is not like that, because if we simultaneously, if we examine 2-3 setups of Stern-Gerlach experiment, and we try to find out the orientation of the spin, and it is not defined, the after measurement, the state itself is forgets its previous state, so it will take another state. So this is quantum, in quantum mechanics, which you call that this is a quantum spin, and this is an internal property, intrinsic property of the particle, and it is not like classical one. And this intrinsic property, like mass, like charge, spin is also an intrinsic property. Please, if you don't understand what is spin, I request you to go my previous video, Stern-Gerlach experiment. In the last, I have discussed about spin. Okay, so today we will discuss about the vector atom model, and we will briefly discuss about the spin orbit interaction. I shall first discuss about the classically, then I want to find out the explanation of quantum mechanics. So please, I am giving you the analogy of classical mechanics and quantum mechanics, so that you can relate the things. You have to understand it, and most of you are MSc qualified, or doing your MSc, or doing your BSc, or you know much about quantum mechanics. So I think you should relate the things from now, so that you don't face any problem at the time of interview. So the first thing we will discuss, that is vector atom model. So what is vector atom model? This model is a convenient representation of the angular momentum of the electrons in the atom, and the angular momentum is always split into orbital spin, and this total angular momentum is J equals to L plus S. Okay, so we already discussed that these are the space quantization that is given by Sommerfeld, that is PS equals to the spin, in terms of spin, the spin magnetic orbital moment, spin magnetic momentum, that is spin momentum is S cross, where S equals to half, and for PL will be L into H cross. Okay, and this mu s by PS ratio will be GS into E by twice ME, and mu L by PL for the orbital motion, it was GL into E by twice ME. Now at that moment, mu L by PL is, for that orbital motion, G factor is 1, but for spin motion G factor is 2, and it is an experimental result. So if you find out that mu S will be equal to mu B, and mu B is the Bohr magneton. Now this PL, that is orbital momentum, orbital angular momentum, is, now we can represent it as capital L, and PS in modern physics, modern quantum mechanics, we represent as spin angular momentum, that is capital S. So the values are L equals to root over L into L plus 1 H cross, and S equals to root over S into S plus 1 H cross. We shall briefly discuss about the derivation when we try to find out the quantum mechanical explanation of spin orbit interaction. Okay, so let us assume these are the quantum mechanical values for L and S, where L is the orbital angular momentum and S is the spin angular momentum. Now this is the picture of a space quantization of orbital angular momentum. You can see that, or observe that, the L can be oriented itself around certain space or around certain directions. It cannot be random, which was in earlier, it was allowed as any, it can take any orientation. And here is another thing you have to understand, this L cannot orient itself along the external magnetic field, that is B. So in classically, or in classical mechanics, this L and this B can orient along the same direction, and which the B always tries to do with any tiny magnet. But here you are certainly looking, saying that, observing, there is no, this L cannot orient itself along B. And these are all the consequences of the space quantization given by Sommerfeld. These are the same same picture which earlier. This is the different PL values, or rather you can write it as PI. Okay, and see here, the earlier it is a 2D picture. You have to understand that what is the you have to imagine it, or you have to picturize. So this is your picturized model for the 3-dimension model. And you have to also understand that L has 3 components, that is Lz, Ly, Lx. So this certain L will be combinations of the three different components. Okay, so L square will be certainly the components of the L will be certainly the combinations of the 3 components, and L square will be also the combinations of the 3 components of L in different 3 directions. Now what will happen if an external magnetic field is placed? Okay, so in an external magnetic field, the vector PL can be oriented in such a way that PL cos phi equals to ML into H cross. That is, ML is the space quantization. So ML can take values from 0, plus minus 1 up to plus minus L. And why this L cannot orient itself along B? The cause is here, look this formula, that is cos phi. The phi is the angle between the external magnetic field and PL. Okay, so PL cos phi equals to ML H cross. So we have discretized the cos phi value, that is we have discretized the angle value, angle which is producing this mu L, or orbital angular momentum, or orbital angular magnetic moment is making with the external magnetic field B. Now for electron, PL and mu L will be in opposite direction. So cos phi, the value of cos phi is quantized, and it is ml by root over L into L plus 1. Now see, suppose L equals to 1. So cos phi will be 1 by root 2, and PL equals to root over 1 into 1 plus 1, that is root 2. So here mod of PL cos phi is always less than mod of PL. Okay, so PL cannot align itself along the B field direction, because maximum value of PL is plus L. Now PL, if L equals to 1, then mod of PL is root 2, and PL mod of PL cos phi is PL into 1 by root 2. So this PL into 1 by root 2 is always less than root 2. That's why PL cannot align itself along the magnetic field or external B field direction. But according to old quantum theory, that PL cos theta, PL cos phi equals to PL. So PL cos phi equals to PL means phi equals to 0. So phi equals to 0 means the orbital angular momentum or orbital angular magnetic moment certainly can align itself along the external magnetic field, and this is the consequence of the the space quantization. Now come to the spin angular momentum PS. The spin angular momentum PS of the electron can align either parallel or anti-parallel to the applied field, and it has value PS equals to ms into H cross, where ms having the value of plus half for the parallel spin, minus half for the anti-parallel spin. So look, if it is your magnetic field, though along this direction ms, then ms will be plus half. If ms is along this direction, ms will be minus half. Now most importantly, you have to remember that the magnetic quantum number must be introduced when an atom is under the influence of the external magnetic field. Okay, now I will at later time I will introduce you, I will tell you what is the physics of this meaning of this external magnetic field. Okay, now just I am requesting you to wait to understand the meaning of the external magnetic field. Okay, before that we should know about some certain easy things, that for multi-electron system what should we do, because multi-electron system L vectors have different electrons, so there will be different L values there will be, so they can be added up vectorially to give the resultant orbital angular momentum L, that is L equals to sum over of Li where sum over of Li will be L1 plus L2 plus L3 plus up to the number, how much the number you will add. Now suppose if L1 equals to, you are taking two electronic system, one having L1 equals to 2, another having L2 equals to 1. What will be the value of resultant L? Resultant will be, you have to do vector addition, or you have to perform vector addition, that is mod of L1 plus L2 to mod of L1 minus L2, that is 2 plus 1, that is 3, 3 minus 1, that is 2, and 2 minus 1. Okay, so or you can also think that 2 plus 1, and then you L1 plus L2 minus 1, you do this job, means you have to take L1 plus L2 up to L1 minus L2 with the interval of 1. So you get L1 plus L2 is 3, because 2 plus 1 is 3, and L1 minus L2 is 2 minus 1, that is 1. So 3, 2, 1. There will be 3 values for L. Similarly, if for multi-electronic system, there will be S1, S2, S3 different spin for the different electrons. So S will be X is mod of S1 plus S2 to mod of S1 minus S2. Now for suppose there are two electrons, S can have half plus half and half minus half, that is 1 or 0 value, and PS and LS are PL equals to root over L into L plus 1 H cross, and PS equals to root over S into S plus 1 H cross. Now this PL equals to L and this PS equals to S. This L is the orbital angular momentum, this S is the spin angular momentum. Okay, so now what will happen if we take the total, the vector addition of PL and PS, we will get the resultant or total or inner quantum number, that is Pj, and which will be Pj equals to PL plus PS, and Pj will also be quantized, so Pj equals to J into H cross. Okay, and the J value will be mod of L plus S to mod of L minus S. Now for suppose S equals to half, so J will be L plus half for the parallel spin, and if S equals to minus half, that is for an anti-parallel spin, J equals to L minus half. Suppose L equals to 1, what will happen to J? J will be 3 by 2 for the parallel spin, and J will be half for the anti-parallel spin. And J will be half, it is not half I think, because anti-parallel spin 1 minus half, okay, half, sure. And if J for L equals to 0, J is also half. Okay, so you have to just add these things. I will show the diagram to understand physically. Before that, what we have discussed, let's understand it diagrammatically. So these are different L values. How you understand that, how these different values with the addition, vector addition, they are giving you different L values. Why is it so? Because look here, this orientation of L will give you L equals to 3. This orientation of L, that is L1, L2, will give you L equals to 2 value. Now this orientation of L1, L2 will give you L equals to 1 value. So can you understand that why we are performing the vector addition and how we are getting this 3 different combinations of L with the different orientations of the L's. Okay, a different orientation of the individual L. Now see here, same with the spin. Look here, if S1 S2 parallel, then for S3 also if we include, for S1 S2 S3 are parallel, we can get a resultant spin momentum, that is S equals to 3 by 2. If S1 S2 are parallel, S3 is anti-parallel, we get S equals to resultant spin angular momentum as half. Now for two electrons, S1 if both are parallel, then we get a resultant of S equals to 1, and one is parallel, another is anti-parallel, we get a resultant spin angular momentum as 0. Okay, so what we are discussing, that is its diagram or representation. Now composition of PS and PL. So what will be the value of PL and PS? You take the values as L into L plus 1 into H cross root over PS as root over S into S plus 1 H cross, and you vectorially add, you get the value of PJ. Okay, these are the different combinations in this diagram that are showing that if you vectorially add PL PS, for different combinations or different orientation of PL, PS, you will get different magnitude or different value of Pj, that is total angular momentum, the sum of orbital and spin. So this method of obtaining the resultant angular momentum of an atom by the addition of orbital and spin angular momentum of the electron is known as the vector atom model J equals to L plus S, where J is the total angular momentum. Now J can have values from L plus S to L minus S, like this way: L plus S minus 1, L plus S minus 2 up to L minus S. Now you have to understand, if L is greater than S, then the multiplicity or number of J values will be 2S plus 1, and if L is less than S, the number of J values will be 12 plus 1. Which is lower, that will be the number of multiplicity or number of J values. Now for L equals to 0, J will be L. Okay. Now why there is an addition in such a way? Now look here, this is J and this is J equals to L plus S. So this addition is, you have to understand that the addition is due to the spin orbit interaction, and the spin orbit interaction is between total L and total S vector of the atom, and this type of coupling is known as Ellis coupling or Russell-Saunders coupling. Okay. Now what will be the angle between PL and PS? You can find out the angle between LS, angle between JL, okay, by this formula, that J square will be L square plus S square plus 2L dot S. Now J square can be written as J into J plus 1 H cross square, L square can be written as L into L plus 1 H cross square, S square S into S plus 1 H cross square, and 2L dot S as 2 root over L into L plus 1 root over S into S plus 1 H cross square cos LS. So the angle that is between L and S, J into J plus 1 minus L into L plus 1 minus S into S plus 1 divided by root over 2 into root L into L plus 1 root S into S plus 1. So this is the angle. Now look here, this is the representation of L which I already shown. Now look here, how you can understand the J value. The J value, how it is coupling, that here this is the L value, here this is the S value of the electron. So there will be precision, and this two precision will be added to get your J value, and which will be precising about the external magnetic field. Okay. So this way you can understand that how L value and S value couples with each other to give you a resultant J value. Okay. And J is also combinations of three different vectors, that is one along X, one along Y, one along Z. Jx, Zy, Jz. Now here is another picture, that for spin up how they are coupling, and for spin down how they are coupling. Okay. Now look here, also the same thing is again I am showing these pictures because I want you to imagine the things, I want you to think about the things. Okay. So suppose this is the PL direction, okay, and this is the PS. Now they can couple like this way. Okay. So composition of L and S vectors to form J vector for a single electron. And there are also another type of coupling, that is JJ coupling, and it is observed in the excited state of heavy atoms. Or what is this? These are the vector Ji of the different electrons are vectorially added to give the resultant J, that is J1, J2, J3 will be individually calculated first, that is J1 equals to L1 plus S1 to L1 minus S1, and J2 will be L1 plus S2, L2 plus S2 up to L2 minus S2, J3 will be L3 plus S3 up to L3 minus S3. Then you individually add this individual J values and you get a resultant J value. Earlier you take J values as L plus S, sum over of L plus sum over of S. Okay. Now you are taking J value as sum over of Ji. So you are taking the individual Ji first, then you are calculating the overall J value. This is JJ coupling, and mixture of LS and JJ coupling are also observed in some cases. Now what will be the orientation of J? Orientation of J, that is Pj cos theta, will be mg into h cross, where theta is the angle between the Pj vector and the magnetic field vector, that is cos theta here. Okay, so this is also quantized. So J can only orient itself along certain angle in the space. So J is also quantized, and the mj is the quantization factor or quantization number. So mj can take values j plus j to minus j. So mod of Pj will be root over j into j plus 1 h cross, and here also Pj cos theta is always less than mod of Pj. So J cannot orient itself along the magnetic field, or total angular momentum, angular momentum, that is sum of orbital plus spin angular momentum, that cannot be oriented along the external magnetic field. So here are also some examples which we are talking about, that if L value different for different L and S values, the different combinations of J we can get. That is, if L equals to 2, S equals to 1, one combination is this possible, or if this like this way, then J equals to 2. If it is like this way, then J equals to 1. So the same L and S value is giving you different J values. Okay, that's why we are vectorially adding this, and we are getting several combinations. If anyone is asking you why we are getting several combinations, you have only L and S values like 2 and 1, and why you are taking J as 3, 2, 1, or why you are performing vector addition, you can certainly draw the diagram and make them understand why we are performing vector addition. Okay, so this is the our mj value, that is the quantized mj values. Okay, in space, look here, it cannot orient itself along the magnetic field. Now I want to tell you what is the quantum mechanical explanation of G factor. Before that, I want to make you understand that how can we understand it quantum mechanically. Look, the energy of a magnetic moment, for if the energy is of a magnetic moment in a magnetic field is del H, that is the perturbation in the Hamiltonian, and this perturbation del H is minus mu dot B, where mu is the magnetic moment of the particle and B is the magnetic field it experiences. Now, where does it magnetic field come from? Suppose you are the electron and you are sitting at electron. What will you assume? You will assume that you will feel that the proton is moving, okay, around you, because you are on the electron. Okay, like earth is revolving, but we cannot feel the revolution, rather we see sun is revolving around us. So you are sitting at electron, here is your position. Now you will think that the proton is moving. Now proton has certain charges, it has some speed. So the proton, the speed, you will feel some magnetic field, and the relativistic magnetic field you will feel, that is minus V into minus of V cross E divided by C square. Now this magnetic field will give you certain perturbation to your energy levels. What will be the perturbation? The perturbation, after calculation you get that the perturbation is directly giving you L dot S term. This L dot S term is the perturbation term, or is the correction term, or the spin orbit interaction term, that is L dot S. And the total angular momentum, here you see that this is J equals to L plus S. So J square is L square plus S square plus 2L dot S. So look here, the total angular momentum is how is it is connected to the spin orbit interaction. Okay, so L dot S, the term you also can write it as half of J square minus L square minus S square. Now what is the G factor, which I was telling you that GL for the orbital angular motion it is 1, and for the spin angular momentum GS it is 2. The G factor actually it is a dimensionless value and is a dimensionless quantity that characterizes the magnetic moment and angular momentum of an atom particle or nucleus. Okay, so this is our mathematical background of angular momenta. We have the spin angular momenta. These are the different for the spin up, for the spin down. So quantum mechanically we represent spin up as plus half, spin down as minus half, and we can certainly find out some commutation relations of LA and LB, that is for different L values along different directions and different S values for different directions, and we can certainly find out some commutation rules. So these are very simple mathematics. So how do you understand the angular momentum coupling? Let me read it out so that you can understand. So what is the meaning of angular momentum coupling in quantum mechanics? That is our question, and we will understand it. So in quantum mechanics, the procedure of constructing eigenstates of total angular momentum out of eigenstates of separate angular momenta is called angular momentum coupling, because you are getting total L from individual L values, or you are getting total J from individual J values. Now this, or for example, the orbit and spin of a single particle can interact through spin orbit interaction. Okay, or if there are two charged particles each with a defined angular momentum, they may interact by Coulomb forces, in which case coupling of two one particle angular momenta to a total angular momentum is a useful step in the solution of two particle Schrodinger equation. So the main thing is that angular momentum in the atomic is the very important in atomic spectroscopy, and angular momentum coupling of electron spin is also important in quantum chemistry. So the coupling is happening between the L and S. How can you understand it? Like this way, they are all coupling like this way. So this has a very important role in spectroscopy or in our future read of future lesson in atomic physics. So in the next class we shall learn about anomalous Zeeman effect, the doublet structure of alkali atoms, hydrogen atoms, spectral term symbols, and energy levels of multi-electronic system. Hopefully you understand today's video. If you have any doubt, you can question in the comment section. Also we have Telegram channel where we discuss our different questions, and we put different quiz questions. I request you to join that channel. If you want to support us, if you think these videos are helpful for you, please support us, and for that you have to click the link below that is given. Thank you so much.